Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of The Post Show, where we sit around in our orange chairs. We talk about everything that we just experienced. How's everybody doing today?
Doing
Great.
good.
Pretty
We said you would see us again.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Yep, and you guys all remember Andy and Elizabeth
We're
from
on-
our
I sure hope
pre-show?
so.
We're on opposite sides.
opposite
They're going to be
sides.
so
Oh
confused.
my gosh.
Hi, I'm Andy.
Bizarro World. Hi. I'm Elizabeth.
And we also have Justin. Justin's joining us for our post show.
Hey,
Yeah. So our service. Anything that you guys took away that was like, man, this was great. This was a good experience. This was a monumental thing. Like, what's a big takeaway? If we were to step back and be like, what's one thing I was going to take away from this morning?
well, it went over my favorite verses, the love God, love others, like the whole point of being a Christian and Greatest Commandments. So, always love that. Love talking about that.
As a parent of a kid who's graduating, it was nice that we as a church recognize those that, graduate and are ready to take that next step. So that's always cool.
Yeah,
And it's a nice
your,
recognition.
This is your youngest.
Youngest, the last one. Yep. I'm
Last-
never going to have another one
Wow.
of these because he's probably not going to college. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Cut that.
What is his plan for the future?
I wish I knew. Other
my
than
gosh.
finance and golf. Like
It was
he wants to
so
work.
funny. Everyone, okay, so I filled out all of I took all the registrations for the grad thing. Everyone was committed to this school, blah, blah, blah. And Angie filled it out. And she's like, plans to study accounting, question mark.
That's his big thing. He likes finance, and he took some sort of test.
Does he like finance or does he like money?
both actually, which is crazy because I don't like either. I mean, I like money. Who doesn't? But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't like numbers. I don't like that stuff. So yeah, he's just
Yeah.
but and golf. He wants to do something with golf, which he's working at a local course now. I think he wants to expand on that, maybe learn some more things so he can learn as much
Yeah.
about running a golf course as possible. So
Cool.
Yeah.
How's he doing in golf this year?
not bad, up and down, but such as this the sport.
It's the way it goes in the links.
That's the way it goes. That's what they say. I don't play, so any sort of advice I can give is quickly. No, Dad, you don't play. You don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
you don't know what you're talking about.
about. Like 20 years ago, man, my dad didn't know what he was talking about, but I'm never going to tell him.
Yeah. Eventually, kids come around, right?
Eventually, when are
Yeah.
you coming around to know that your dad was right?
I still got 10 years.
Okay.
It's just starting now.
All right. Any big takeaway for you, Elizabeth?
I don't know. I'm just excited for this series because I think it'll be a really good just conversations to have to break down those things that people the misconceptions that people can think are true but aren't 100% true. So I'm just excited for the series.
Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, today was hopefully a very good one for everybody to hear because I know for me it was very reflective. It was one of those things where today is a great day for one of those self checks, right? Because it's about loving yourself and do I actually love myself? If I don't, what's the proper way to get me on track to doing that? And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. But Dave started off the service doing this 2 truths and a lie.
Uh-huh.
So my question for you guys is, it's not. I did not put
Okay, I
my
thought it was
2
like-
truths.
Think
Oh,
about
that
nothing.
would've been fun.
I know. I think you. Here's the thing: is we're all pretty close. I don't know if I could have fooled you.
Same.
Okay,
I
you
wouldn't have been
totally could have because he's literally my dad, and there's once a month he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I went to Venezuela and did gymnastics on the streets," and I'm like,
Wait, what? You went to
What?
Venezuela to gym? Yeah, okay.
That's the lie.
You're right.
it's just it's these crazy little things that I'm just like, you played soccer, okay, cool. It's just little things. So
It's true.
you probably could have gotten me, unfortunately.
Maybe. I kind of wanted to take a different approach rather than throw out my 2 truths and a lie because
Sure.
we got to play along with Dave. But here's the question: do you guys actually think you're good at telling the difference between truths and lies?
Like reading people or just reading?
Yeah, I interpret it however you want.
I'll say yes, because part of my job, I talk to people all the time, and you can get a feel from even before I meet them in person whether or not they're being truthful or honest.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, so in case
Oh yeah,
anybody's
sorry.
watching.
I when people have damages to their homes, I call them and then schedule a time to go out to look at it so I can help out. But there's many times where sometimes people don't want to tell you everything that happened because they might be embarrassed or this or that, and you have to get to the bottom of it. So yeah, unfortunately you can start to, kind of weed that stuff out pretty quickly, and I'll be like, all right, I know what happened. It's okay. I've also left windows open and turned, and driven through car washes before. Something ridiculous like that, or, yes, I've been mowing my own grass and a rock hit my own window. Like, it doesn't mean you're wrong or anything. It doesn't change whether I can pay for it or not. It's just one of those things, like, nobody wants to admit to, I'm the one who broke it, so.
Right.
But yeah, so for the most part, I think I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, so you think you're pretty good.
I'm super trusting of people. Like, I like seeing the good in people, so I think that I'm a little more like ready to believe a lie. I think I can tell when I'm being taken for a ride. I think, but I think I'll just let people have it.
I just strap in and
Yeah.
enjoy that ride. Yeah,
Like if
for
I
sure.
quit Mountain Dew, I stopped drinking, and I see one in the closet. I'm like, you'll get it.
Or that was an old Mountain Dew before you stopped.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story. It's fine. Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like I'm a little bit like Justin. Like, I just trust people really, really easily. But, like, it just depends on the person,
Mhm.
And also, like, there's times when I, like, if I'm suspicious that someone's lying, then I go, like, detective mode. I go, like, especially if it's, like, little things that I'm like, why are you lying about that? Then I become a little detective.
And by
Like Sherlock
detective,
Holmes.
is that like internet stalker?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Like
great
Instagram,
at it.
yeah.
I'm great at it, guys.
Toss the hat on.
I can't lie. There have been times when you're like, "Ooh, look at what happened here."
No, I
You're
know.
like-
Okay, so taking it back to Dave's game, where did who guessed it right?
I did. And the only reason why I did is because I was like, that would be the one that I feel like people wouldn't expect to be the lie because he
Oh.
always talks about mountains.
Yeah, and I've kind of known him for the last, since Skylar was here, when he was 1, so he's now 21. So it's like I've known Dave for a while, and I'm like, see, I remember when he hurt his hip, and I'm like, Dave doesn't have a frame to get over 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Even at his largest, I'm like, so it's not that one. And I too, like you, was like, if anything, we would have already heard about this 5 mountains. He would have taken every opportunity to tell us. He never has, so that was the one I picked.
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it.
Which one did you think?
That mountain one. I thought that, like, since he talks about it so much, I was like, oh, that's probably right on par.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and that's the thing is, Dave's point was you have to, like, a lot of times those lies are so close to the truth
Yeah.
because the reality is that Dave climbs a lot of mountains. In fact, we got to see a bunch of pictures from him climbing mountains today. It's what he does. It's part of who he is.
Yep.
And so for him to just adjust that number, I'm sure that probably fooled a lot of people.
Oh, I watched everybody raise hands, and not a lot of people raised their hands on the last one.
Yeah.
It was the first 2 that,
Yeah.
especially because he's also talked about how bad he was in school.
And failing orientation.
failing orientation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to fail freshman orientation.
You can fail an
Could be
orientation?
I didn't know you could fail orientation,
had
but
no
apparently
idea.
you could back in the day.
Oh,
I think it was a class.
Oh, I got you.
So-
Okay.
Oh, like a prep thing?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think it's
okay.
like that first week of school
Where you
here's
just
where
get
go.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that-
syllabuses.
I think it's like how to be the proper student.
Gotcha.
But I was like, for mine, I think we just like show up and took a tour. Like, did he get lost in the tour?
They're like, this guy's not
in the
orientation.
parking lot. This school's weird.
All right. Well, one of the major points that Dave was talking about today, one of his first early points, was you have to learn to love yourself. Let's just do a real quick self check.
Mhm.
Where are we at on this? How do you guys personally feel about, or maybe this is a challenge, finding ways to love yourself? Do you love who you are?
I do, yeah. I think that pre-therapy, I kind of was like working directly on this like a couple years ago. I am very self-deprecating in my humor and my jokes and stuff like that. And then, if you say things enough times, you're like, I kind of believe it, and, that you're uncoordinated or you're silly or goofy, all these things. And so I think it's one of those things you got to really focus in on. And like, we're all quirky and weird. And I think that the best part of being different, how God made us, is loving what makes us quirky and weird. So yeah, I like who I am. I've been wearing an all orange shirt today and pants, so obviously I'm pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable who I am.
Comfortable in this, huh?
Yeah.
Is
It's
that
Sunday.
good?
I think it ebbs and flows. Like for the most part, yeah, I like who I am. I think when I take the physical things out, like, cause I'm like, sure, I could always be a little thinner. I could always, be a little, more muscles or whatever, all that stuff. As tough as that can be, I know, trust
What?
me. But it's one of those things where I'm like, when you put it to where what Dave said today, that at any point in your life you are where God has planned for you to be, it makes it easier to just go, okay. So I know, like, there's things I can work on, because we are called to work on ourselves and not just let it go type of thing. But yeah, so it ebbs and flows. And right now I'm in kind of the coming back. I've been watching what I've been eating, because I have a goal to try to lose some weight before the end of the year. And it's one of those things where a couple of weeks of kind of monitoring what I've been eating and working out more, that part I'm good with. But there's other things like who I am as a person never comes into play. I always love that, because I'm like, that's who God made me to be. I'm that outgoing, in your face person that just likes to hang out with people. So
Yeah.
I'm never going to apologize or feel bad about that. So
Yeah. Well, all of this stems from really that verse and kind of the commandments that are given. It's love God with all your heart, soul, strength, mind. That is the greatest commandment. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. And a lot of times, and he talked about kind of that little tag on as yourself.
Yeah.
And we know that there are people who, maybe it's an ebbs and flow, but there are people that have a lot of self-hatred. They really struggle to learn to love who they are. And Dave was talking about the self-hatred. And self-hatred may stem from personal pride, past regret, or satanic oppression. And then it was really, the answer is not to focus on yourself or to just try to love yourself more, right? It's not, well, just love yourself, just do it.
okay.
The big thing was, you've got to learn to love God supremely and love others deeply so that you can love yourself. So as we step back and as we analyze this, as we talk about this for the last couple minutes that we have, either what advice or how can we help somebody if we know or are around somebody who we know has that kind of self-hatred, that kind of destructive feeling? How can we help guide them into a place where their attention really is, you have to focus on God. You have to learn to love God supremely, and you have to love other people. Like, these are the answers to love yourself. Or what are some things that you struggle with that maybe this has helped you realign your thinking?
Oof.
Yeah.
It's a big question.
I've talked a lot. Elizabeth, you got anything?
Yeah, you got this.
Oh, great.
Take it over, pal.
Perfect.
Nothing like putting you on the spot, huh?
No, it's great. I feel like I struggle with this personally, but I feel like I struggle with it in like a weird way. So like, this sentence makes a lot of sense to me, but I don't know like what isn't like connecting for me, because I feel like I put so much effort into like loving other people and taking care of other people, to a point where like you and I have had conversations where like I let other people's emotions and how they're feeling affect me so much, because I just care about people so much. And so it's just like, it's hard for me to look at this sentence and be like, okay, like this is what I have to learn and grow and be better at. But I feel like, I mean, obviously there's always room for growth, but like I feel like I do that to at least as much as I can. So then it's like, what is it that still isn't like connecting the dots? And so it's just like, I don't know. I feel like this is where I struggle. I feel like I can be pretty good at deciphering lies and truths about like what other people say to me, but it's really, really hard for me if like I get a thought in my head, or if it's like a negative thing. I get a really hard time figuring out what is true and what's a lie in my head about like myself.
Sure.
Because it's like, you read the Bible and God says the exact opposite thing, but then it's like I can't get my brain to decipher that it's different, like that's what it's telling myself is not true. So I think that's where I struggle with deciphering if it's a truth versus a lie. And I feel like that's, at least for me, it's been really, really hard to like figure it out, because how do you figure that out? Like,
well, let's take this back let's take this back, right? So those lies can lead to a form of self-hatred, right?
Yeah.
And there may be other things, right? Like he listed 3, and these are 3 kind of categories we can lump a lot of things into.
Right.
Personal pride, past regret, or satanic oppression. If you were to just surface level, but evaluate what you were just saying, where do you think you would categorize those lies that are
Yeah, look
being
at my
pushed
notes.
in to your life?
Like, the thing is I don't know. I don't think it's past regret, but like I don't know. The last one seems really scary to me.
Mm.
Like just
big
looking
word.
at that, that's like terrifying, and so like I don't want it to be that one, even though like I don't
Well,
know.
let's debunk the stereotype, right? Because
Yeah.
when we see that, sometimes instead of oppression, we can substitute the word possession, right? Like
Yeah.
satanic possession, like you being possessed. That's
Yeah.
not what it's talking about. This is oppression coming from satanic forces, from the evil. These are the lies that are being spoken in that are in direct contrast to what God wants for you. That's what satanic oppression is.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of what God intends for you that is being spoken into your life, and that is affecting and creating self-hatred.
And honestly, too, with that last one, I totally get that seeming intense, but like that's what I've been feeling the last couple of months with myself. Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot of energy and like just bad thoughts and feelings and things I know. And at first, it was really getting me down and like tearing me down for a long time. But then I kind of started thinking, like, if I'm getting all these negative forces in, I must be doing something right. Like he wouldn't try to stop me from doing what I'm doing if I wasn't on the right path to doing something. So I think that'd be my encouragement for it. Is like, obviously, it's a disconnect, and I totally get it. And I've had, like I said, therapy for a long time to get on track for that too. I totally feel that. But I think it's just keeping your head up and moving forward as best you can. I mean, that's so not an answer. That's so surface.
Well, and because we have to wrap this up, we only have about 10 seconds to wrap it up. The I know, sorry. Oops. But the encouragement is our focus needs to come in this order. And that's why I love this statement so much.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to love God first. That will flow into loving others, and out of that will be the love that you have for yourself.
Yep.
If you're struggling with this too, we'd encourage you to contact us at my3c.org. We'd love to talk to you. Comment below. Join us in the chat. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll see you guys next time.